N. Ravi, Chairman, Bhavans Chennai Kendra, Thiru K. N. Ramaswamy, Director, Bhavan Chennai Kendra, Dr. Sudha Sasayan, Thiru P.G. Subramaniam, Principal, Bhavans Rajaji Vidyashram, Chennai, the distinguished, eminent persons present here, people who have devoted their life to study Kamban, admirers of Kavi Chakravarti Kamban, teachers, principals, professors of various institutions, those who have taken part in this Kalvi Kudangalil Kambar competition. My dear students, it is indeed a very, very joyous occasion for all of us today. We are here, we have assembled here to remember, to talk about the great legend Kavi Chakravarti Kamban. I must thank Bharatiya Vidyavan Chennai Kendra for taking this initiative. They have been at the forefront of preserving and promoting our culture, which includes our language, our art, our literature, our dance, all that defines us, who we are. We know the circumstances under which Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan was conceived and created. I have mentioned it in the on previous occasion as well, but it merits repetition because in the 1930s, when we were slave, Bharat was under British occupation, and independence of our country was nowhere in sight, though countless freedom fighters were fighting, giving away their life and everything for independence of our country. Yet, the British were so powerful and so cunning that it was not very clear how long it would take for our country to be independent. In that backdrop, leaders like A. Munshi, Mahatma Gandhi, they realized that while independence might take more time, we must preserve who we are. Because what the British were doing, they were systematically destroying the culture and identity of Bharat. And in that background, this Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan was conceived, and it undertook numerous projects under the leadership of the great freedom fighter and a stalwart member of Constituent Assembly, Sri K. Munshi. We pay tribute to him for his initiative, which helped because contribution of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, I'm not sure whether it is adequately appreciated. Ideally, after independence, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan should have become, I mean, not necessary. It could not. It was not very. The core purpose there was not needed because after all, we had become independent. We could have carried on with the mission of preserving and promoting our culture, who we are. But then the task of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan became more difficult because, unfortunately, governments after independence, until Prime Minister Modi came, they systematically kept doing things which kept undermining who we are, our culture, our identity. In fact, our culture became a state culture. Our culture became so much overwhelmed by politics that it was completely broken into pieces. What united us, the whole Bharat, was broken into pieces. The diversity was turned into differences. We know that the culture is the characteristic of the people. A state is a political entity. A state cannot have a culture. A state is an administrative entity. People have culture. And new states were created and people started, and the politics made them look inward, looking into a smaller part of culture. Culture was broken into pieces. We are celebrating Kambar. Numerous regions, they are experts. They know much more. I am nobody to talk so much about the various aspects of Kambar. But one thing I know, that what unites this whole country is a story of Sri Rama. Any part of Bharat you go, any part of Bharat. And I can claim, because I have traveled in remote parts, in the tribal areas of Northeast to Jammu and Kashmir, every part you see in the folklores, in the people's consciousness, a story of Sri Ram is present there. In fact, when Ramlalas, this was Pran Pratishtha, before Pran Pratishtha, when Bhumi Pujan was to be done, for Bhumi Pujan, people from all parts of the country, they enthusiastically participated. They sent the soil and water of their respective holy rivers in their own respective states. So much so that even in the tribal areas of Northeast, people who embraced Christianity, they sent water and soil from the holy river in that particular state, that particular region, to Ayodhya, to be put in the foundation. Sri Ram is present all over. The story of the characters of Ramayana has shaped our consciousness. What is right, what is wrong, how we should behave, how one should conduct oneself, how the individual should collect, how a son should collect, to conduct, how father, how wife, how husband, how ruler, how friendship, how enemy. Every aspect of life, it is the ideal reference. It has shaped Bharat for long time. We know that Bharat existed for thousands of years. For some people believe that it became after 1947. For all those thousands of years, when there was no one king, and yet people were one. People were one. The sense of right, wrong was well defined, well understood. Whether in a family, when there is a dispute between brother and brother, reference comes of Sri Ram and Bharat. Every aspect of life, every aspect of life, be it individual, be it collective. It is laid down there. And this story has gone all over. It seeped into the consciousness of the people. Even the so-called illiterate people, and why even? Because they are perhaps more today than people, those who are literate, those who are educated. They have moved away. But people, those who are still rooted to ourself, our soil, they are the people who are upholding in their day-to-day life that unity, that harmony. This is the strength of Ramayana. And this is the source of creation of Bharat and its nourishment over the ages that kept us together. Unfortunately, after independence, systematically we began moving away. We began looking diversity as a difference. Started looking in terms of caste, creed, language, region, race, all kinds of things started coming up. For Rama, there was no Aryan Dravidian. Be it in Kashmir, be it in Kanyakumari, people are devotees of Sri Rama. There is no confusion about that. Because Bharat did not come out of this kind of confusion. The truth revealed in our Veda that we are all one. And all integrally connected with each other. We are all individuals are like atom in a larger being. None can exist without the other. This truth, how to translate in our day-to-day life that we are one family, and so we must conduct in a way that must maintain the family. That is how Sri Rama appeared, and through his life and story, it came. And he came as a human being. He was not a far remote in seventh heaven. He lived like a human being. So we all relate. And we know, no, this is how I should do that. This is how we should behave. This is the right way. So the ultimate truth revealed in Vedas was actualized, was translated in our day-to-day life by the characters of Sri Rama, of Ramayana. And Sri Rama being the most ideal. That is why we call him Maryada Purushottam. He was the most ideal of being. And that shaped our consciousness. And Kambar, in fact, as scholars agree, that is what they say, that after Adikavi, Valmiki, he was the first one to translate or put the story. I won't call it the word translate. It's not the right word. But he put the story of Sri Rama, keeping the essence in a language which was understandable, which was intelligible to the common people. And thereafter, it is written in almost every language. Even dialects. I have heard Ramakatha, Ramayana, among the tribes who do not have a very clearly defined language or literature, but still they have a story of Sri Rama. In their own way, they narrate. So there are countless Ramayana. But first, the pioneer was Kambar, who put it in a language intelligible to the common people. Now, Kambar, his work, how it defines this Tamil identity. Tamil identity. In fact, I am glad there are descendants of TKC present here. TK Chidambarnath Mudaliar. I have read his, I must say I have not read his entire, but I have read his commentaries on pieces on Kambar. TKC says Kamban knows the heartbeat of Tamil. I am using his word. Kamban knows the heartbeat of Tamil. Pick up one verse of Kamban. Sing it again and again. And you will feel the heartbeat. You will feel the throb, its vibration in the throb of your pulse. Kamban knew and he expressed Tamil people who they are. And that is how it became so popular among masses, not only intellectuals. Scholars, when you have a great personality, multiple facets, people look at various. But common people relate. In fact, TKC, I find difficult to find a person as a great admirer at that point of time. And he was a champion of, at the time of National Freedom Movement, he was a champion of Tamil language. He was one of the few pioneers who started ridiculing the political leaders who were talking about independence, but in the public speeches they were speaking in English. He used to make fun of them. What is this guy? Look at this. In fact, a great service that he did. If you look at contribution of Kamban to our national freedom movement, it is all underappreciated. And I urge that we have to do a lot of research on that. The consciousness of national freedom movement in Tamil area, Kamban had a great role to play. And how? One of the ways, which at least, I am sure there will be multiple ways. I am only picking, pebbles on the seashore. They're much larger. When Anand Vigatan started in 1925, by the 9th year he started it. But within 2 years, because of financial management, scarcity and all, he had to give it to S.S. Vasan. And S.S. Vasan, in 28, when he took it, and he was he was a businessman, he was going in the ad world, doing all kinds of things. He knew how to run a business. He spotted Kalki Krishnamurti. Kalki Krishnamurti was, at that time, with Rajaji at his Gandhi ashram, Amitrichangold. He was running Navashakti, the magazine published from Gandhi ashram. S.S. Vasan spotted this man. He is a genius. We can bring him here. He went and requested Rajaji to lend Kalki to run Anand Vigatan. And Rajaji allowed it happily, saying that Kalki Krishnamurti going to Anand Vigatan will give impetus to our national freedom movement. Because when Kalki Krishnamurti came, the front cover of Anand Vigatan became Bharat Mata, a picture, a drawing of Bharat Mata. And thereafter, serialized writings on Kamb Ramayana and Mahakavi Bharati. It began in Anand Vigatan. It continued for years together. In all these Kamb Ramayana verses, episodes, it appeared and it reached the masses. In fact, when Swadeshi movement began, our great V.O. Chidambaram Pillai, on his Marina in 1907 speech, he called Swadeshi as a Rambana. We know what is Rambana. It doesn't need explanation. Maybe the young people, my young students might know. But since they have studied Kambar, they know that. That there is if there is any evil or anything bad, any problem, put Rambana as an answer, it solves it. There's no question. He says, Swadesi, Khadi, they were all Ramban. You don't have to have a military to fight the British. Adopt Swadesi. So people related because they call it Ramban. Because people knew Ramban. So Kamban, or Kamba Ramayana, Ramavataram, has played a great role in our national freedom movement. And when it comes to Tamil literature, if people, they are great people, they know, they are scholars, they say, I am only quoting what they say, that you remove Kamba, then Tamil literature is what? It is left off. What is left of it is an apology of it. Yes, there was a time our great Nayanars, Alvars, they have contributed hugely, and before that Sangam period. But thereafter, putting it in a language which resonates with the people, with the heartbeat of the people. That is why TKC called it Kamban knew the heartbeat of Tamil people. And Kamba Ramayana verses resonates with our pulse. So, such a great work, systematically we started forgetting them. Unfortunately, the politics of division, politics of separation, all those things that united, they became difficult, politically inconvenient. Sri Rama unites, as I told you, that you go to any part of this country, any part of the country, you draw, in fact, I have done this experiment in some parts, just a drawing of an episode of Ramayana and show it to the common man, village. What is this? Immediately, this is what a story is about. This is, there's a Dhanush Yagya where Sita Swambar. You draw and say, this is Sita Swambar. See, Ram is putting the Dhanush, is breaking it. Ram, you draw it and they will tell you, yes, this is Jatayu, they will tell you, oh, this is what it is. They know the story. They relate. So this unites. But what unites becomes inconvenient for some people. So they would like to erase it systematically. And today, we find that we don't hear as much about. We have a great Kamban Kalakams, and I must thank them all. They are carrying on the legacy of Kamban, wherever you are. And I know there are a good number of them. And today morning, I got to know they have started a Kamban Kalakam for students, Manavar Kamban Kalakam. So that's something again very, 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 very encouraging, that more and more people. Last year in Ramanavami at Kambar's birthplace, Terlandur, for 9-10 days, we organized, the people organized events where people came, performed different episodes of Ramayana and, even, this recitation of Ramayana. Ramavataram. People. We had events at, Natarasan Kotai. I feel encouraged with the enthusiastic participation of students. And the fact that students, they participate in such a huge number, the fact that so many people are coming forward, Kamban Kalakams have become much more vibrant now. It only tells you that that urge is there in the heart. It did not get the right environment. When the seed is potent, but if the soil is not good, seed doesn't grow. All that is needed is to put some water in the soil. The seed will grow. It is there in the heart of every Tamil people. Kambar lives in the heart of Tamil people. It is the identity. And anyone who talks about Tamil identity, Tamil culture, and denies Kambar, which they have denied for long, that is a deception, misleading the people. Because One is Sri Rama unites whole Bharat. Bhakti, how can bhakti be there when you say, I mean, if you accept bhakti, then you cannot break idols. You cannot put garland of shoes on idols of the deities. You cannot do that. So bhakti. And what they say? Bhakti is irrational. The rationalist movement started. And unfortunately, they have nothing original in them. It's all European copy. You know, when the church and the ruler, the king, they clashed, the king patronized a number of intellectuals who came up with reasoning. They call it, in Europe, they call it age of reasoning. They call it European Renaissance, age of reasoning. Whatever doesn't stand to reason should be rejected. And that is how they confronted the church. Here, they, instead of calling it that, they started calling themselves rationalist. We must be rational. And nowadays, they have coined a word is unscientific, scientific or unscientific. So, devotion is unscientific. No, this is all fading. It is not sustainable. They cannot survive. It is not possible. Some time back, they had, what kind of observation they made on Sanatan. They have gone back on the back foot. They find it difficult to say. No longer anybody talks bad of Sanatan. At least not publicly, they find it difficult. Similarly, this scientific and unscientific, when it comes to bhakti, is not going to stay for long. This bhakti which defines us, our great Nayanars, Alvars, it is their legacy, their heritage. If we say bhakti is unscientific, then you deny all the Nayanars and Alvars. Then what is left? Here. Is there anything left? You have some sloppy literature created in the last 50, 60 years or 70 years. No. It lives in the heart of our people. So as Kambar lives in the heart of our people, all that we need is to put some water. As I said, the soil in the seed is potent. Put some soil. Nourishment is needed. And I would urge all of us, we must do our best, contribute to revival. More studies, more research, more recitation, more events. And in this very pursuit, we established one Kambar Vanam. And today, thanks to Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, today we got a Kambar statue also. Now, thousands of students they visit, other than normal visitors. On the weekend, Raj Bhavan, or which used to be called Lok Bhavan today, is teeming with students, young people. It becomes a point where they come and see. No, they will see, yes, today. I think much more. These are a small initiative. What Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan has done, or whether the Lok Bhavan is doing. And in this this initiative, I thank Dr. Sudha Sasayanji for her contribution. She has been fully committed to carrying on various competition, tests, the modalities of it. But this has to be a movement, a mass movement, a Kambar movement in all schools, all colleges, villages. If you ask anyone how many PhDs are there on Ramcharitmanas, Tulsidas, you will not know how many thousands of them. But we don't find many on Kambar. Why? We must encourage our people to do more and more studies, researches, and bring it in our day-to-day life. Because then, this awareness, we talk so much about ethics and ethics. What ethics? Once you internalize Kambar, ethics is taken care of. you know that how you conduct your life. The society will be harmonious, society will be healthy and vibrant and vigorous. We must continue our effort more vigorously, and I'm sure in this, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan will continue doing its bit as it has been doing. I thank you, all of you, for being here, for being a part of this great event, and I thank them for giving me opportunity to be part of it. Thank you very much. Bye.